oh man, left behind. If your prospects are slipping through the cracks, then this is for you. You're not alone. There's people time and time again, business owners just like you, just like me, that come to us here at FlowChat, and they're like, I know that I'm leaving great potential and prospects and revenue on the table simply because I don't have a clear, concise system for following up. For example, one specific case is a Facebook group. You have people coming into your group, joining all the time, but you're not simply just reaching out, welcoming them and saying hi and following like a DM campaign or sequence that is a conversation. That one little tweak alone has made multiple members hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is one of the main reasons that today's fellow FlowChat members spotlight focus for today. Mr. Jonathan Clark is with us. Jonathan, how's it going?
Great. It looks like I'm on the beach, so life is good.
Sun is shining. You're getting your tan on. I like it. Thank you for, yes, breathe it all in, fresh air. Thank you for coming out and joining with us today. We'll get into your story a little bit because it will be remarkable and helpful for others to hear, but I'll always like to jump right into content when everyone's listening and watching right now. This concept of slipping through the cracks. This is a big reason why you came to FlowChat. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, so the model I'm running at the moment is a free Facebook group to cater to my community and my target market. We've currently got 900 members in there right now, and there's a high-end, back-end program for sale in a second private paid Facebook group. So the whole aim of the game is to nourish and nurture and look after the following and then convert them into the paid group. The conversions haven't been great, and I realised that we were neglecting an awful lot of people. If those members weren't engaging with us, then they were basically silently lurking in the background and there wasn't enough engagement. Then I saw FlowChat and thought, this could be the answer.
So you're applying FlowChat to your Facebook group, and it's just being able to have a clear path to follow for yourself and or team in following up with them. Okay. And I know, so everyone listening, watching, Jonathan's just recent in joining FlowChat. We wanted to highlight him because he's doing some remarkable things, number one. Number two, this is a really common problem that some people are aware of and some aren't. So we want to highlight this, we want to spotlight this so that others can benefit out there. Because I know, Jonathan, you're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner just like me, just like everyone listening, watching this. And look, we all have real relationships, marriages, families. And if we don't figure it out and serve enough people and create enough value, then we all go home. We don't get to play this game of business. This is a huge deal that we get to talk about today. You mentioned your Facebook group. Tell us a little bit more about your group and who you serve.
Okay, well, for 25 years, I've been a business coach, NLP trainer, hypnotherapist, life coach, speaker, author, been on TV.
Have you already hypnotized me?
Done all that. That's why we're talking.
He's so good. These are not the droids you're looking at. All right, keep going.
Well, in this case, this is the software you are looking for. Yeah, so I know those worlds really, really well because I live in those worlds. So I group them together and call them thought leaders. And I know that I'm much better at making other people successful than myself. So I focus on helping other people become best-selling authors, get their online courses up and running, get their coaching and consulting wings up and running, and get a year's worth of a calendar of events and retreats all set up. So 5 income streams, 6-figure added to the bottom line. That's what I now help people do. And up until recently, I was doing all that for clients. We were a full-blown digital marketing agency. We were doing all that stuff for clients. It put me in hospital. This time last year, I was in hospital. So I decided this has to change. The Facebook group model thing is all the rage. It's very popular right now. It was a perfect container for what I wanted to do. But what I've noticed now, whatever we are in, about a year in, we're not talking to all the members in the free group as well as we could be. And if left to their own devices, they might not talk to us. So I was looking for a way to make sure that I engage with every single member in the group, made them feel special, made them feel part of the community, and that's bound to increase conversions at the end of the day.
You might find this crazy. It seems like there's a pattern here, Jonathan, when you have the pool of the right people that you can help and serve, and you talk to more of those people on a day-to-day basis, you end up getting more sales. Am I hearing this correctly?
Surely, isn't it? Your income is directly related to the number of conversations you have. So if you increase the number of conversations you have, you're bound to increase your income, surely.
I'm a simpleton, Jonathan. Speaking in different places and connecting with more people, I'm like, here's just really the one thing that I like focus on in business. And there's plenty of parts of business that I've really had to like grow my skill set. And there's still parts of the business that there's one that's coming up in a few days. I'm going like a deep dive on more of the financial side, reading like financial reports. And so I'm like, here's what I know. If you make more money than you spend, you're going a good direction. you know, and if I talk to more people, I make more of the money. So anyway, I try to keep things simple that serve me well, and sometimes it's helpful for. I know we're making kind of light and having fun with this, but it really can be simplified as that being a key thing to focus on. Hey, so you said 25 years of business coach. That's a
Yeah.
long time. How did you get started in business?
My first business, I should have props because I've got it here. My first business was a superhero fanzine when I was 19 years old.
What?
I'm a comic geek. I'm into movies, toys, movies, all that stuff, comics. Been reading DC and Marvel stuff since I was able to read. So I put together a black and white stapled fanzine that went out all over the world. We get paid in postal orders. People used to send us checks and stuff. And I was 19 years old. I got a taste for that. We eventually turned it into a full color magazine, which was all across the world on newsagent shelves. I got to go to Las Vegas and interview Stan Lee for issue one.
What?
I've got the photograph on my phone. Oh yeah, I'll let you see the picture. So yeah, and then a week later, like a magazine industry expert that we brought in to help us basically stole the business from us. And I discovered that in a gentleman's agreement, I was the only gentleman. And that was the end of that. So,
Got it.
but I used it as motivation. I had people saying, "Oh, what happened to your little self-employed project?" And I was like, "Watch me,
Hmm.
watch me."
Hmm.
Um, and that's where it went from there. Then I got into the personal development stuff, did all the Tony Robbins stuff, hypnosis, NLP, even going to Hawaii and studying high level shamanism, a lot of spiritual stuff.
Okay.
And I then set myself up as a therapist, and then eventually got qualified to train and teach people and certify people. And that led to me doing a lot of public speaking stuff. That led to doing TV and radio appearances, writing
Wow.
books, and doing all that kind of good stuff. I'm busy looking for a picture of Stan Lee, which I can't find.
Okay. It
So
looks
yeah,
like you were
done all
reading
that
from
for
a
a long, long
list of all the things that you've accomplished in the 25 years.
time.
Uh,
I found a picture of Stan, me and Stan Lee.
just picture
But yeah,
pending. If you stay till the end, you will see a picture of Jonathan and
there
Stan
we
Lee.
go, there we go. And
Oh, he
I've got a
found it.
beard.
Okay, you can just watch it now. There's proof. That's him with the famous sunglasses.
That's him.
Jonathan. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Like, I mean, he's one of the most influential people in this generation. Um,
yeah.
and like Disney owns Marvel now, and they're cranking out Marvel movies like crazy. What was your impression of him?
Incredibly nice guy.
Mm,
Rest his soul, but he was exactly what you see. What you get is what you see is what you get. Lovely
yeah.
guy, really cared about the readers, cared about the fan base. As he said, a fanzine without fans is just a zine. So, the football team needs the supporters. Rock stars
Mm,
need the fans, and he was
that's a
very
good
much
point.
about that.
That's a good point. It's interesting as you saying that. I love studying high performers, how they think, how they, navigate the world. The Last Dance on Netflix, probably other places regarding Michael Jordan. A lot of other good people contributing on that content. The punchline is this: he was playing for the people in the back row. Maybe not entirely, but heavily. And the way that he talked about it, though, you could feel it. And so it connects kind of what you're saying with Stan Lee and understanding the importance of fans. And in this context, being an entrepreneur, like you're serving a market. You're called to serve a market. You're serving a market, and the better you can serve them, the better that you'll do. Like business is a systematic way of delivering a product or service, but what's created from the heart is felt by the heart. The experience of how it's delivered is the thing that is the superpower that turns it into this wildfire. I love this, loving this conversation. You've traveled all over the world. I'm in Las Vegas. Next time you come, please say hi. It looks like you're still in Hawaii. But let's talk about one key
Yeah.
thing. Let's talk about one key thing that you mentioned, NLP.
Mhm.
How did that
Mhm.
affect sales? How did that affect how you saw the world?
Um, NLP's kind of been, it's had its day. It's been surpassed by CBT and mindfulness and various other things that have been around just as long, but are more fashionable right now.
And for
I
everyone
look at
listening, what
NLP
is
as being
NLP?
life,
Sorry, I forgot. I should have led with
neuro
that.
linguistic programming, which is it's a bit of a mouthful, which is why it was abbreviated to NLP. Completely
Yeah.
made up title, by the way. The co-founders just made it up one day, but it's it,
But
it's
neuroplasticity
a
is
study
real,
in how that's kind of
right?
new.
Oh, that's no.
NLP
Okay.
was originally a study of how people stay stuck. It
Mm,
was looking at how do people stay stuck in ruts? How do they not break out? Why can't they get out themselves? Why do they need help? And when you know how somebody stays stuck, you learn how to unstick them.
mm,
So in the 70s, it was revolutionary, it was brand new, it was state of the art. And to be honest, it kind of still is. There's
yeah.
very little, I would say, out there that beats it. I don't look at it as a sales skill or a business skill. I look at it as a life skill. I
Mm,
couldn't read aloud in school. I had an ulcer by the
mm.
time I was 19 because I was so shy and timid and scared of people. I don't have that anymore. Put me in
Wow.
front of an audience. I walked into a Bon Jovi concert one day in a Scottish stadium, and there was like 60,000 people in the room. And I remember thinking, I could handle this audience. And I was thinking, isn't that a sharp contrast to where I was a few years ago?
Just a little bit.
You know,
Yeah.
just a little bit. So it's life skills. It improves how you run your head, which, as you said, improves everything else.
Wow. Um, it's I've recently, not recently, but heard of NLP within the last maybe 3, 4 years. So like not too long ago. And I've never like fully, to be fair, never really studied it. I've found out like some people would tell me some patterns. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, or that's what was happening rather. Um, really, really powerful life skill, as you said. I think that's a really great way to say it. If you're watching this and you don't know what that is, Google it, watch some YouTube video. It's a great place to start. Any like people you'd recommend watching or learning from? You're like, yes, Jonathan
Um,
Clark.
Well, funny enough, the best exponent of NLP by miles would be Tony Robbins. Tony
Yeah.
Robbins was one of the first NLP trained guys on the planet. He's
Mm,
then gone and branded it his own way, which is smart. I think there's a chap called David Shepherd in London
mm.
who's one of my master trainers, and I would absolutely recommend David every day of the week. But yeah, you should look into it because it's got so many applications.
Awesome. Okay, let's. I think that this is always helpful to know. You've been coaching for 25 years, and you went in you haven't covered like what happened in the hospital, but fortunately you're here, you recovered. And what was that tweak that you made to where now you're like serving people, you're running your own business. You've showed all the other people that you can be self-employed for decades. This all being
Yeah,
said, what was
yeah.
that tweak that you made where there was like your body's not falling apart anymore?
It was moving from done for you to done with you.
Mm,
So I suddenly realized after 12, 15 years of running an agency, I've got 15 bosses. And because of
mm,
the pandemic, they were all getting really frantic and scared and antsy and aggressive and demanding stuff that we never agreed to and then cribbling the money. And it was all out of fear and scarcity, which everybody was going through. So I get
got it.
that. But it was constant stress. And I realized I'm basically running 15 different online businesses here for 15 different people. That is not what I envisaged when I started this.
Yeah.
So lying in hospital, it was a kidney stone. First time in 35 years I've been in hospital. I'm lying there with a kidney stone squeezing its way out of me over 7 days, and I felt every millimetre. I
Hmm.
realized, why am I doing all the work? I used to be the teacher guy. I used to be the trainer guy. I used to show people how to do this stuff. Why am I
Yeah.
doing it? And that was the flip. It was like, hang on. And then I needed a new vehicle. I needed a new container for what I was going to do. And I came across a new coach. She actually handed me a business model. And I thought, this is the way forward. It's funny now because here we are a year later. I'm doing about a 4 hour work week. And what I
Okay.
keep getting flashes of is something's wrong, something's missing, I've missing something, forgotten something. What is it? It's the lack of stress. It's the lack of,
Ah,
and
we gotta find it, Jonathan. Oh wait.
it's like this is how normal people live. You know, it's great. It's fantastic.
What is this feeling I'm feel? Is this happiness? Is this peace? What is this sorcery?
Let's just voodoo. Yeah,
That's awesome. Lack of stress. It's I think it's important for other leaders, other business owners to hear that. If you're watching this and you're burned out, or you're watching this and you know you're working hard or longer hours, but you're still kind of in the place where you're telling yourself, but once I get here, or once I do this, or once I get to more clients, then it will be like that type of thinking, those type of phrases should be massive alarm bells going off in your head,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you're playing in the fourth quarter or at the end of the game. You're redlining, more than likely. And a big part of playing the game of business that's overlooked is just living to be able to play and fight the next day. So it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Whatever insert analogy in this case. I think it's really powerful for you sharing your story, Jonathan, of going from like broken, hey, what's the difference, done for you to done with you. And let's talk about systems though. Do you have a team? Is it just you have good systems in place, so it's yourself, or how are you currently operating?
I had 9 freelancers that I know, like, and trust, that and who are all good at what they do.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic, the government decided to pay people to stay at home. So I lost half my
Ah,
team.
got
That
it.
increased the workload. So all of a sudden, we're now even more stressed. I've retained 5 of those guys. I still have those 5 guys on my team. The ones who sat at home on a sofa got sacked. Um, and what we're now doing is we're using as much automation as possible. We're using Active Campaign, we're using Text Magic, we're using Zapier, integrating everything. So it's all pretty much automated. It took about an hour and a half to set it up, and now it just runs by itself.
That doesn't seem too bad. Hour and a half.
All right.
I like it. If you know what you're doing, right? If you know it's easy once you know
Yeah,
what buttons to click. Um, before
yeah.
we get to the last question that I have for you today, Jonathan, I appreciate you coming on. If as people are leaning into the last almost 3 decades of your experience and what you're saying, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me on Facebook, the Jonathan Clark. Google Jonathan Clark NLP. You'll find me all over the internet. I've been there for a long, long time. There's also the free Facebook group. If you go to Found Hired Paid, www.foundhiredpaid.com, it's on the bar right below us. That takes you into the free Facebook group. You can get a taste for what I do, and if you don't like it, you just leave the group.
Just go the other way. I like it. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And like, what can they in the Facebook group? What can they expect? Found, hired, paid. What can they expect?
The whole challenge that I see coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, and experts is they are typically terrible at telling anybody how good they are. So we cover 3 core pillars. One is the basic fundamental mindset stuff, target market stuff, basic things. The second part is the marketing piece. So every week I'm on doing a live stream teaching a marketing process that's easy to implement the same day. And then we also teach a sales component as well, because you might be getting leads in, but if you can't convert them, you're leaking it out your bucket. So we cover basic foundations, marketing, and sales every single week in that group.
Got it. I love it. What's Jonathan? What's your superpower?
Um, Making other people successful. I'm really good at getting people to become best-selling authors and six-figure earners
What do you like? Why though? Like, what is it? What do you help them do?
because I've done it. So I teach what I've done. I don't teach
Okay.
anything that I'm not currently doing or haven't done myself. Um, and they seem to do it better and quicker and faster than I did, and I enjoy that. I think it's funny. I think it's amusing. So yeah, I like seeing other people succeed. It comes beyond.
Got it. Got it. I like it. Well, the last question that I like to always throw at people is it's basically, why do you do what you do? And here's what I mean. I'll give you a little bit of time to think. Um, any athlete, musician, artist, and I would put entrepreneur, business owner, leader in this bucket, it's a vulnerable spot. You're putting yourself out there to serve other people, and in that effort, uh, there's some that will embrace you, and there's a lot that won't. And so it takes a certain personality and a certain person to say, but it's still worth it, even though to most people it's like, screw this. So I'm always curious, uh, by the people that still push forward. I'm curious, how they tick, why they tick. And so why is, you're almost 3 decades into this. What drives you? Why do you keep doing what you do? Why serve other people?
I think it's the difference between which is your priority, freedom or security.
Hmm.
If you value freedom, you'll be self employed, you'll have a variable mortgage if you've got any mortgage at all, you'll do what you like, and that freedom drives you. But you give up your security. You're going to have to generate your income, you're going to have to fill that appointment book every month. If you value security, it'll be fish on Friday, fixed rate mortgage, and a job, which is fine, but you've given up your freedom.
Hmm.
So I think freedom for me is number one. I couldn't work for anybody else. I'm unemployable. I tried it, didn't last long. I like being my own boss. I like deciding how long I work for and with whom. I get to pick my clients, which I really enjoy. And I think it's that. The freedom is there, the security is up to me. If I can have both, then I'm a happy camper.
I love it. I love it. That's powerful. That's probably a very similar thing of everyone, listening, watching this, of what drives them. They maybe tried the job thing once, maybe twice,
Yeah,
and we're like, here's the deal, not this. So,
yeah, yeah.
what are you going to do? Anything but this. And that was kind of their journey. Hey, Jonathan, I appreciate you jumping on. Any last bit of wisdom or thing that you'd want to share with everyone listening, watching today?
It's what you do that counts. There's no point in talking about it. There's no point in sitting there at your desk hoping someone's going to find you. You have to outreach. You have to be found. You have to get found, get hired, and get paid.
That's solid. That's solid. Well, actions speak louder than words. I appreciate you, Jonathan, and look forward to talking with you more soon. Hey, and also thank you guys for hanging out with us, spending time with us here in the FlowChat Spotlight. Being an entrepreneur can be lonely. Being a leader, a business owner can be lonely, but it doesn't have to be. And this spotlight is designed to hang out with other like-minded leaders and business owners just like you and me, and listen to the ones that are actually on the front lines. As Jonathan mentioned earlier, about taking action and what you do and like how you do it and how you're showing up. You're on This is the place. This is the place where you're hearing from people that are actually in it, getting results, serving real people, and getting real positive outcomes. So appreciate you spending your time here, and we'll be back with more awesome content.